What's good, good people? So I have just a couple of. I think I got like 10 of them. So, but I wanted to talk about like 10 ways that you can like maintain your power, and this is in no particular order. But when I'm talking about power, is it's your personal power, and what that means is you have the ability to move and operate in life that is peaceful and also productive. You know how to handle people in such a way, or you understand like your ability to make things happen because of your power, if that kind of makes sense. But a lot of personal power. I'm not talking about power based off of what everybody else says about you. I'm not talking about power in the sense that like what you got on, where you live, and all that stuff. Because even people who got all that stuff, they're not in the position of power, especially over themselves. So that's what I mean. Where it's like you have power, you have position of power of yourself and over a lot of people who come at you. Because oftentimes in this lifestyle or just this life in general, you could feel like you're very powerless, and nothing is furthest from the truth. Oftentimes, you don't even realize that you give up your power to people and the people that's around you, and a lot of other people they know that, but they have to make you feel like you have no power. They'll try to disable any type of power or relationship to have you in a space where you cannot fight back against their advancements. So you know what I'm saying. So this is what I'm talking about with power and people. I think just in general, a lot of people, myself included, you always get power mixed up. You again, you think you got power if you got money. You think you got power, and I'm not saying in the earthly realm out there in the world necessarily, but I'm definitely talking about like within yourself, the personal power. Um, it don't matter what materialistic possessions that you got. There's a lot of people that's rich and they are no, they're not happy. They're miserable, and you realize what good is the money if you know what good is the money if you can't be happy. And it's just like in a lot of other ways where power is it's personal power that you got to really understand that that is one of the most important things to cultivate, and always understand that you have power in relationships, dynamics, work scenarios, or just in the society as large, when you understand a lot of these basic fundamental facts. So these are my 10. The first one I said, you got to really truly have some time. You have faith in God and really try to do your best to grow towards God. And what I mean with that is nothing in this world will ever stay stable. If you put your faith in a person, they will always let you down. You put your faith in the materialistic possessions, that will always break you down. And there's our people before you even remotely get to wherever you're trying to go. Especially if you got faith in God, you got to understand how much so many people they're gonna come up against you. And so with that faith in God, and when I'm talking about truly the faith in God. But it takes me some time to go through trials and tribulations to really truly understand what I'm saying. But when people who know what I'm talking about, who've been through the fire, who've been through those trenches, who've been in that lion's den, and then they got out on the other side, they will know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes you got to go through things in order to understand God. You know what I'm saying? So that's why if you've gone through a lot in your life, you went through a lot of hell, you have tremendous faith in God. Whereas comparison to other people who haven't gone through as much as you, they don't have that much faith in God, and so they can't make it past a certain point because of how the world will try to snatch or the devil or whatever. They He snatches everything away from you. And so if you put your power or your faith in your materialistic possessions, people will easily break you down. And a lot of people, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to try to take away from you. They're going to strip everything down from you. And if you put all your faith in that, you're done for. If you put your faith in another person, you're done for. But when you put your faith in God, it's like a solid foundation in the sense that you're not going all over the place like a lot of other people. You're very much grounded, and you have confidence in that grounding. You have confidence in yourself because you actually have confidence in God. That's where the confidence. And so a lot of people, they don't understand that. But when you have faith in God and you understand things is going to work out, or things are going to be in a certain, it's not to say you ain't going to go through trials and tribulations. I'm not trying to feed a fairy tale. I'm talking about when you truly have faith in God and you do your best to do right in the world and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. And that's extremely important because that's your foundation. People cannot knock you up off that. They can push you. They can bump up against you. You might stumble a couple of times. Some people might hit you with the haymaker, and then you drop down to a knee or something like that. But you'll never fold and you'll never fall completely. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's the faith in God, and that's the power of the faith in God. The second thing is to tell the truth, and what I mean with in telling the truth, is keeping it real. The person that you should be the most honest with, is yourself. When you be honest with yourself, or hear them back up, it's very, very easy for people to tell you lies when you lie to yourself. It's easy for you to believe in the lies of others, or be susceptible to the lies of others when you lie to yourself. And that's real important because people, they only gonna come in and they're gonna give you an image. They're gonna give you, it's not real. It's a facade. And so they come in close, trying to get at you, especially manipulative people. One of their major tactics is to discredit you, to make you out to be a liar, that you don't know who you are, blah 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 blah. But when you keep it real with yourself and you keep it real with other people to a certain degree, again, it's just like having faith in God, because you have faith. The truth is God, so it's like, you have faith in Him, and people can't knock you up off your square. Not only that, even if people lie about you, people come up against you and everything like that, lies will always be exposed in the end. So liars, people who be lying to you, whatever the case may be, they need people. They need to work double overtime to stay committed to a lie, and they oftentimes will forget the things that they've lied about, and then they'll eventually fall into their own traps. But when you're truthful and you keep it real with yourself, it's easier for you to keep it real with other people that's around you. And in another example, I said being true to yourself is understanding who people are in your life and what their true purpose is, even though it can hurt, because it could be Ken and could be a best friend, but they don't treat you in the ways that these titles would suggest. And so, in keeping it real with yourself, you also keep it real with everybody else around you. And you will have the ability to do what is necessary to preserve your peace, your happiness, and your ability to move forward. People can't lie to you. They can't come up and tell you that you did something, you are something that you're not. It doesn't matter if the whole world stands against you. You can stand by yourself on the truth, because God with you. That truth is extremely powerful, but you got to also understand that truth can also times be very deadly. You understand this, the scariness, how people are terrified of the truth. They're petrified by the truth. And so they don't like it when people speak the truth. They don't like it. This world lives on lies. So it can be dangerous. So you have to be wise in what you say and what you don't say. The truth that you do give, and sometimes when you don't, you have to have the wisdom and the discernment. And again, just like anything in life, it takes time. But try to get up every day and do what you know is right and tell the truth. When you tell the truth, you have power, because you don't care whether or not people believe you. You don't care whether or not people are gonna go up against you. You don't care whether or not people hate you. You don't care, because your foundation is not based off of people like a lot of other people are. Their foundation is based off of other people, and so they have to lie to ensure that they're still around. In other words, but you can, again, you can stand by yourself. People be sitting there shocked and amazement of how you're able to endure all this mess. Is because you ain't got nothing to worry about. You ain't got to worry about lies coming back and haunting you. You ain't got to worry about. It's not to say you perfect. I ain't saying you ain't telling no lies, but I'm saying in the end you won't be nervous or not. You don't care, because you got the truth. You got God in you. Know you in the right. So it don't matter who walk away. It don't matter what people got to say. It don't matter, because you know the truth and you know who you are. It's extremely powerful. People can't knock you up off of that. Again, you got to go within. If you go with outside, if you go out there, and the world will ravage you to pieces. So again, you don't put your faith in people. You put your faith in God. You tell the truth, but you're wise in discerning when to tell. Because again, a lot of people are never worried. They're never going to get it. They want to live in lies. And so you have to understand that. And so, again, being truthful with yourself, you understand that the person that's standing in front of you, they're not going to change. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to do anything. And so, or these people won't change. The situation won't change. So you got to understand to, in standing true to what the truth is, you have the ability to control your life more, but it's ultimate power. Again, a lie has no power. That's why they got to use 100,000 lies to cover up the truth. They got to work overtime. They got to go out of their way. They're tired from telling so many lies because they got to keep it up, and then they forget the lies. But when you know the truth, you could just be one person standing on the truth, and you still have more power than 100,000 lies that people have said against your name. You see what I'm saying? So that's why the truth is so important, because you keep it real with people. Ain't no funny business. People cannot come up. You give a certain standard towards people. You respect people on a certain level, even when they're in your face. You move in a certain type of way, because when people start to be disloyal, when people start to act funny, when people start to do things that you start to notice and realize, it's not on you. And it makes it so much easier of allowing people to go and loving them from a distance. It's so much easier to know who you are. You see what I'm saying? So the truth is extremely important. Another biggest thing is walking away. Again, we always feel so powerless because of the people that's around us and what tie that we have with them. Oftentimes, again, people want you to think that you have no power, but they're definitely terrified of you figuring out one of your major trump cards that will always prevail. One of the greatest power moves that will always prevail. And that greatest power move is walking away. Ain't none, understand this. The world, they operate in black and white. The world see things in a way where it's either strong or weak, up or down, left or right. And this is why these people, they never go that far in their life. They live a life of chaos and whatever. It's not to judge people, but just again, this is how people, they live their life. They can be extremely toxic. They got to uphold their ego. They got to uphold the image. They got to uphold all this BS. And so you might find yourself in a situation with individuals where if you go left, it's a problem. If you go right, it's a problem. You go back, it's a problem. You go forward, it's a problem. Just like what I said with the truth, if you know you're putting your best foot forward, you come to a conclusion that this stuff ain't good for me. But the world see things in black and white, and because the world see things in black and white, they will see walking away. Sometimes people will, as a weakness. But again, you cannot listen to the folly of foolish people and understand what you do and why you, again, this is why you have to have truth in your, you have to be truthful to yourself and have faith in God, because you have to understand how the people of the world is going to react when you do certain type of things. The people of the world will perceive that as that you didn't want to fight, or you don't want to go back and forth with them, or you were afraid. People will outwardly go out there to do stupid stuff and get themselves caught up in situations, scenarios, or whatever the situation they might find themselves in, because they're trying to prove things to people. They're trying to prove that they're hard. They're trying to prove that they this person or that person. They're trying to prove that they got it. They're trying to prove it. And when you in that mode, people who are holding or they're instigating or they're trying to put you down some way, shape, or form, they're winning when you're trying to prove something to them. They look at you as a fool because everybody already know what it is. The only thing is you don't realize what it is. So with walking away and being silent, it removes any ounce of power that people ever had over you. They need you there, but that's why they want you to think you have no worth. You have no value. They want to go in and break you down and break down your self-esteem, break down your thought process and who you are. They have to do this every day, because when they do this, they make you very timid. And timidity means that you don't have courage. You have courage. You lack courage on the interior. So people want to keep you in a space of fear. They want to keep on coming at you in every toxic way. They want to do dirty, harmful things. They just want to walk all up over you. They want to just take, and never give you anything while you sit there and just tolerate it. This is what people's mentality is. And they get offended when you tell them no. They get offended when for God forbid, you have your own brain, your own thought process. God forbid you have a spine and you stand up for yourself. People will act like you're the villain. And then you trying to go back and forth, but they use manipulation. Half of these people lack self-awareness so severely that they really, truly do think it's you. They really do think it's you. They feel like they ain't never done it. They could have chopped off every limb on you, and they feel like you overreacting, that they ain't doing anything wrong. But watch what happens if you do it to them. Watch what happens if you do it to them. Watch what happens. They amputated every single last one of your limbs. What if you amputated just a finger? Watch how they're going. They see the evil when it's coming up against them. But when it's the opposite way around, they're blinded. And I'm telling you, a lot of people, they're very conscious what they're doing is wrong, and they know that it's justified, whatever punishment. But there's a lot of people too who truly really think that you are the problem because they severely lack self-awareness. It's on a whole nother level. So with that being said, again, this goes back to understanding the truth and keeping it real with yourself and with people around you to the best of your ability without necessarily giving everybody everything. But also you got faith in God. And so with that being said, you can get up and you can leave. Even though it's hard, you can get up and you can leave silently. You ain't got to say a word. It completely removes any type of chaotic drama or energy that people try to bring into your life. It completely removes all that stuff to a certain degree, to a large degree. That stuff breaks people down on a whole nother level when you get up and leave. Toxic people, they lose their damn mind. Especially if they can't get in contact with you, they can't talk to you. That's how they when you get up and walk away, you suck the air and you have all the power in the world. That's why these people, they want to come in, break you down, and then get up and leave before you leave them. Because when they do that, they absorb a lot of your power if you're in a state of confusion, if you are in this emotional space, and they can keep you in this darkness. It gets to a point where you see how foolish people are, the evil acts and everything like that. And again, these people so toxic, they will really truly think it's you. They can't see their evil. They can't see all the evil that they give to you. They'll deny, 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 deny. And you'll be there sitting, talking to people till you blue in the face, trying to go back and forth with people, trying to argue with people, trying to show your worth, trying to do all this manner of whatever. And you don't even realize you're giving your power over to people. And so that's why it's so important when you realize and you have enough discernment, you know that you did the best with whoever you were with or what the scenario was. You put your best foot forward and it's still wrong. People always see you as the problem. People still think that you are the negative one. What you do next is you get up and you leave. You bow out gracefully. You ain't gotta get up and go in an explosive manner. You get up and you leave silently. You ain't gotta get your good back. You ain't gotta do none of that stuff. Because it'd be funny. It's so funny how when you get up and leave, you were the problem when you were there. But the moment you got up and left, the problem still persists. Not only that, the problems are getting worse with time. A lot of other factors comes out and everybody all over the place. They don't and they cannot no longer blame you. And now people can see the value. A lot of people, they already see your value, but they don't want you to see it. That's why they try to break you down the way that they do. Other people, they truly are blinded. And so they don't understand your importance. You get up and you leave. They can't decipher the lies and all the other stuff until the day you get up and you leave. Because you're no longer in the scenario. You're no longer in the picture. So if you're no longer in the picture and you were the problem should go with you. But even when you got up and you left, the problems are still there. Not only that, they have 20 times the problems that they had when you were actually in that seat because they're not recognizing and realizing, and again, a lot of people do, that you're doing so much that it seems like, you do stuff so efficiently, you do it so well to a certain degree that people don't even see the value in it until you get up and you leave. They realize that 20 times the extra work, it was on your shoulders. Now people will appreciate you, but it's too doggone late. Walking away is one of the greatest powers that you can ever have because it removes the influence. It's not going to necessarily remove everything, but you leave people to their own devices and let them destroy themselves. If you're such the problem, people will be rejoicing when you get up and leave. But it's funny how when you get up and you leave, now everybody know how to treat you with some type of modicum of respect. Everybody know how to pick up a phone. Everybody want to check in on you. But when they had the opportunity when you was there, they spit in your face, proverbially speaking. They did all this manner of evil. And then again, when you get up and leave, they will act like they're the victim. And again, there's a large portion of people that truly wholeheartedly believe that they're the victim because they lack self-awareness so severely. They will do something wrong and then blame you. They will never take accountability. And sometimes you got to come to that conclusion and recognize and accept people for who they are, not who you want them to be. because when you do that, it'll be so much easier to get up and leave. People can't guilt trip you. People, they don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to you because they've never give you anything but evil. So they can't turn around and once you're getting up and walking away, pretend to be an angel of light when they were the damn demon. I mean, they were the damn devil. So, in understanding that, removing toxic people, toxic energies, and people who will just want to perpetually propagate drama, the best course of action is to get up and leave, and it's easier said than done. But it's detaching yourself emotionally, recognizing people for who they are. You don't hate them, but you forgive them. You don't hate the nature of a person. You understand it, but that doesn't mean that you don't put in strict bound. It's just like an animal. It's just like an animal. You can't necessarily be mad at an animal when an animal does whatever that animal's instincts are. You can't necessarily because you understand that that's it. And so when the animal does certain type of thing, even if it's harmful, you aren't even necessarily mad at the animal. Even if that animal could have bit off your leg or something, you probably won't even necessarily be mad and sitting there stewing. You'll be more so mad at whoever was in charge of the animals. And that's how sometimes how you have to look at people and understanding that they are who they are. You can't change them. And so you shouldn't try. You just understand and you adapt. You don't put a gorilla in the same type of atmosphere that you will put a lion. Two completely different atmospheres. And so that's how you have to handle people. And one of the biggest ways is you got to get up and you can walk away. When you had enough, you'll find the strength to get up and walk away. So that's number 3. Number 4 is sometimes you really got to be silent. Be quiet. Oftentimes we overestimate the power of silence, and you will gain a lot of power in silence. Again, when you walk away and then you're silent, you suck all the power right back to yourself. And you're not being silent to play games because what people do is they use silence as a manipulative ploy to get what they want up out of you. They will use silent treatments in a passive aggressive way to show that they were disapproving for whatever you did. And so oftentimes what you'll do is when you see this, especially if you got love for that person, you go run up and try to figure out what's going on with that person. You try to pry them open so you can fix the problem, but then you won't say anything. Eventually you start to modify your behavior and you're always on edge, always looking at that person, making sure you're not offending them. You're not doing this. And these people, they be doing that stuff on purpose. Eventually what's going to happen, you're going to completely lose yourself. You'll also be starting to develop abandonment issues. And with those abandonment issues is because, again, you feel like when you get in other relationships or whatever the situation that you might find yourself in, those abandonment issues would trigger when somebody says something negative about you, when somebody's acting as though you did something wrong. They're giving you the silent treatment. So you're trying to run and try to figure out what's wrong with this person, and you won't realize that you're losing yourself in this person. Again, a lot of people, they do it on purpose. They use it as a way to break you down. That's what they use that stuff for. So that you're running up after them and you're begging. You won't even realize that you're really losing yourself chasing somebody who's doing this stuff to you. And again, it might be somebody that you really got love for. It's not even necessarily a romantic partner or something like that. It could be a familiar partnership or whatever. They use that as a weapon against you so you can chase up after them. You'll start to develop abandonment issues because you're afraid to stand your ground or afraid to be who you are. You're afraid because you realize and you understand that if I'm myself, people, and I gotta set boundaries, then people gonna walk away. People ain't gonna want to be there. People ain't gonna da 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 da. Again, this could be family. So people they out there, they be making, they be judging or whatever. This could be family. Where are you gonna go if you ain't got family? You know, but it comes to a point where you're gonna be in a stage where you have these abandonment issues. So every time somebody come up to you with some type of opposition, whatever, you won't say anything. You won't go forward and do what you know is right. It's because you have these abandonment issues. Because you feel like if I do, just like how you did in the past, where you did something and then whoever the loved one was or whatever situation is, when they went on silent on you, you run after them trying to find. You're developing this emotional abandonment, at least in that setting. So you're going to go out there in the world and you're going to interact with people who have that same trait as those that you had before when you're unhealed, when you don't understand. And so you'll be more prone to be with people who also give you silent treatment as people have in the past. And you're so afraid of upsetting people. You're so afraid of people rejecting you that you rather people like you more than they respect you. And people that respect you, a lot of times they probably don't necessarily like you. But this is the lifestyle that you're being set up with. If you're not privy, you're not aware, and you'll continue to get in toxic scenario after toxic scenario with the very same individuals who show this abandonment. And so that's why it's so important. That's so why it's so important to really start to build yourself from the inside out and not look for external validation, because people, they naturally, what they're going to try to take control of you in any way, shape, or form. Their manipulation tactics is silence. A lot of times it's one of the most powerful weapons that you can use against somebody. And so with that being said, you can reverse it on people and be silent when you in certain people's presences. When you're in the presence of certain type of people, what you're being silent. Sometimes, a lot of times, I always say this too. God will have you in times in your life where He wants you to be quiet. You can feel it every time in your spirit, and you really want to get up and defend yourself. You really want to get up and do something so you can proclaim. It's almost like you get mad with God because you don't understand why He's telling you to be silent. It's like you want to speak, but you can't talk. And it's like somebody put a muzzle over your mouth. So you don't understand, like, why can't I defend myself? And it's not until you get up out of that pit season. It's not until you get to a place where God, you can understand fully. You'll understand why He was telling you to be silent. In that, He's telling you to be silent so you can watch people. People, they will think that you dumb. People will think that you weak. People will think that you're naive. People will think, it's not to say you don't necessarily have some of these qualities, but not to the level. Everybody has these qualities in some way, shape, or form. But people, they will see this in the sense where it's a weakness. And so what people will do is they will get bold and they'll start to try to like play in your face. What God's trying to show you is, because people, they like to put on the good talk. People, they like to do things in such a way where it's harming you, but they want to play both sides. People, they don't want to be with you when you're at your lowest point of your life, but when you get back up, everybody want to be your friend now. Everybody want to be around you, but when you needed people, they were where were they? They were your friends before, but now like they're like Casper the Friendly Ghost when you're going through it. But then when you get to the other side and God gets you to the other side, now Casper turns right back into a doggone person. You see? But what people's kryptonite is they don't realize that you're watching them. Again, people, they think like the world. The world will do dumb things. And if you don't go over there and do the dumb things as the world, then they will claim and act as though that you are the weak one. They will find themselves in all manner of stupidity, unnecessary stupidity, trying to prove points. But a lot of times what people do is they expose themselves, especially when they feel like you're not going to get up and do anything, meaning like you're not going to go anywhere in life. Is when they feel like they don't need you, when they feel like they're better than you, when they feel like they're manipulating you. What people will do is they'll show you who they are as blatant as possible. And other people, again, when they feel like you ain't going nowhere, that you ain't got nothing to offer, or other people do, especially when you in your pit season, people will truly show you who they are. And that's when you got to really look at people and take them at face value at that point in time, not when God gets you up out that pit. Because God wants you to be silent so you can watch people and watch their behavior, watch their patterns, watch all this stuff. So when God gets you up out that pit, you already know. And God wants you to see how quickly people will switch. They were once the devil, now they're an angel of light. Before they didn't care, now they care. Now you get why God was telling you to be silent for so long, because He wanted you to sit back and watch people, because He already know that people gonna talk sweet in your ears, and you'll justify it, rational or whatever. So that's why you go through all that hell for a period of time, because people it's in that moment people expose who they are because they don't think that you're getting up. They don't think that you is nothing's gonna happen. This is where people's will really show you they ass for lack of a better words. It doesn't matter what you give people. It doesn't matter how you help. It doesn't. You learn so many valuable lessons. How people will treat you when they feel like they ain't gotten and they feel like they're getting over. It teaches you a lot of lessons. And so when God gets you out that pit, people cannot abruptly just turn around and try to be something that different. You ain't even remotely going for it. And that's why God wanted you to see. Had he done it earlier, people would have been wearing masks and you would have never known. But now when you're on the other side, people that abandoned you when you needed them, they're now coming back now. And so with that being said, just like I said with the person that's manipulative, thing is you're not being manipulative. You start to go silent on the very people that went silent on you. You know, you start to give back, and you learn so much from people. You learn a lot. Again, when you don't speak, people think you stupid. They think you're goofy. They think you weak. You know what I'm saying? Because they saying why if because they think like the world. They know the world will do certain things, but God is instructing you to do something different. You might not necessarily, you don't even understand it until you're on the other side. Now you get it. He wanted you to see people in their true colors, not who you wanted them to be. They had no choice to expose themselves when they feel like you were never going anywhere. When they thought that they defeated you, that you were worthless, they showed you who they were. They cannot come back after this long period of time and claim and try to act as though they now want to be your friend. They now want to be around you. They now want to be a family member. They now want, you already know it's a lie. They can't use manipulation to get back in. A lot of people, they already know that. That's why they won't even necessarily try you. They won't even try you. A lot of people, they don't have a foot to stand on in your life because they ain't do nothing but give you hell. They never gave you anything. You were giving. They were just taking. Thing is, you don't hold grudges. You don't hate people. You just see the scenarios and the situations for what they are. And understand that people's behavior is not necessarily a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. Now, what these people do show you is a mirror in the sense that they're showing your flaws. How do they show your flaws? Is because they're triggering and they see your weaknesses, your points of vulnerabilities, and they're pointing and they're picking at them. They're priding at them. They don't even realize they blessing you because now your enemies, they teach you where you were weak at, where your vulnerable spots were, and they helped you by their actions. They didn't try to, but indirectly they were helping you. It was not on purpose though. They planned it for evil, but God worked out for your good. You see? And so now when everything is all said and done, again, when you get up and walk away, you can also be silent. Ain't no more talking. No more talking. You saw people's patterns and you know what it is now. Once God got you, you know what it is. There's no more hiding. That's why silence is so important. People will think you dumb, they think you're goofy. They will start to try, they'll play in your face. They will think that they're smarter than you. So that's why silence is so important. And then when everything's all said and done, you give them silence right back. But you're not doing it to manipulate people because that's what people will think you're doing. They think that you're playing games like they are. But they'll get it in time. And you got to understand that's why God tells you not to take vengeance into your own hand. Do you know how bad that breaks a person down when you're silent on them? When they can't get, do you know how much that breaks them down? Again, they use it as a manipulation tactic. People will come in to pull you in real close. They'll put you up on the highest pedestal just to knock you down. Just to knock you down. And so, with that being said, you gotta understand what people's motivations is, and you oftentimes don't know their motivations until trials and tribulations come up. They have or something serious comes up. People will show you who they are, Again, you got to take into consideration that they don't think you're getting back up. That's huge. That's big. Why is that so big? If they don't think you're getting back up, people will treat you for better or worse at that time period. They have no incentives to help you. They have nothing except for your friendship or whatever the situation, or your, the bond with the family or whatever. That's the only thing. And it's in these times that you have to understand that this is the person and their character. People don't understand why you'll walk away and be silent and you no longer mess with them. They know all the evil that they've done towards you. They know. They know without a shadow of a doubt. Thing is, they don't understand how you know. Not only that, they want to talk to you. They want to get back in some type of communication so they can sit there and lie to you. They need to know what you're thinking. They need to know what you know so they can puppet and manipulate scenarios and situations, and they can gaslight you to get you to fall back in. That's why to get back in, they will do you dirty, and then they'll flip it and twist it if they know why you're getting up and leave. People, they understand that you cut them and you treat them in a cold demeanor in a way that you might. It's not to hurt people. It's not to, but it's in protecting yourself, because you know people ain't gonna change. Not only that, people showed you who they were. They showed you their character. They don't understand that I see your character, and people get frustrated because they thinking that they always thought that you was weak. They thought that they can get over on you. They thought all these things because you were silent. They thought you don't know, that you didn't know. And this is why they scrambling when they realize that you do. They feel like a fool when they realize that you do. They feel even worse because they realize that you could have hurt them. You knew you could have really hurt them. They understand your value when you're done and gone. And truth, and a lot of times, actually, people do see your value while you're there. They just don't want to admit it to you. So much pride and ego. They don't want to admit it, 'cause they'll go around and proactively talking down on your name. And so they'll get other people to look at you in a certain type of way. This is why another importance of being silent. You just keep on doing you when people turn other people against you. What are you going to do? Go run and try to convince everybody that people are lying on you? I'm telling you, you will look like the fool. A good portion of the people that you're trying to go convince people are lying, they already know that they're lying on you. The other half, they don't. They probably didn't like you from the jump, and they were just ready to jump on anything just to go against you. A lot of people, they have a mob mentality. They feel like they're a part of something, so they will jump into the mob against you just because so they can get cool points from other people. And they ultimately want to control you. But when you're silent and you don't bark back with people, it's not out of a sign of weakness. It's an understanding that you're going to use energy on fruitless endeavors. If people are fools, you can't fight with a fool. You can't go back. You know who you are. You know what you did. You know God. And so, with that being said, you ain't got to fight back against allegations, lies, and all these other claims. When you do, people look at you as you're guilty. They think you're actually guilty because they're thinking in their head, if you didn't do it, why you trying so hard to say that you don't? And manipulative people that set the whole situation up, they know for the most part that's exactly what people are going to do. You see what I'm saying? Like, they know exactly. So when you're silent, it throws these people off. And not only that, when you get up and you walk away and you still remain in silence, again, like I said before, you were such the problem that it should have been, if you were the problem, all the problems should have been eradicated with your departure. But again, the problems were not eradicated. They got worse when you left. Now people can see the truth. They can see the light. They can see it now. People, again, who tell lies and do all this manner of evil towards you, they need to work overtime. They need to work overtime to convince people that of lies that they say. In the end, when you're silent and people can see you for who you are, they go back to the original person that told all the lies, and that individual more than likely be contradict themselves because they forget the lies. They get so cocky, they get so prideful, they get so arrogant, they get so confident to break you down in a way. and they want nothing more for you to go back. If they want you to hear the lies and the rumors, so you can go up and confront them and go back and forth and fight with them. That's why you got to understand where your power is. You don't engage in situations. You don't engage in folly with fools. You don't. You recognize for what it is, and you see people's character because you've been watching them over time. That's why God wants you to be silent at times in your life so you can watch people. You see their patterns. You see what they choose to do. You see their actions versus their what they say. You see all these things, and God needs you to see all these things so you know without a shadow of a doubt who people are. They had time to do the right thing, but they didn't because they thought that they won. So now when they turn around and they see you up on your feet and you do it even better, now they want to come back and disguise as an angel of light like they're for you now. And they get so confused when you won't allow them back in. They don't understand. I see your character. I know your character. I don't care. They thinking if they give you trinkets, money, women, cars, this, that they can pull you back into a dynamic with them. And it works so much on other people, they get extremely frustrated and they're very hateful because they don't understand why it doesn't work on you. They don't realize I see your character. I know whatever facade that you're putting on in front of my face to get back into my life is fake. If I were to go to a tree, your character is like the roots of that tree. And just for visual sake, I know this doesn't necessarily happen, but imagine the roots were rotten. They were on a bad foundation. If you know that the roots are rotten, it doesn't matter what fruit it bears. The fruit it bears is also going to be rotten. In the same vein, a person's character is equivalent to that of the roots, and the apples or whatever fruit is on that tree is representative of how they're going to come back at you. And so they're trying to give you an apple and trying to get you to bite into it, and they don't understand why you're not going to buy into the apple because you already know that is because the roots of that tree is rotten. It doesn't matter what comes out of it; it's rotten. So people don't get that because they don't understand. They didn't recognize that you watching their patterns the entire time. So when you get up and leave, ain't nothing to be said. You ain't got to prove yourself. You ain't got to do nothing because it's a waste of your energy. There's a lot of power in your silence. Again, a lot of manipulative people, they know that. They use the silent treatment. They're gonna run away from you so that you can chase up after them. You see, they that's what they're gonna do. So that's number 4. Number 5 is playing possum, and this one takes a great deal of humility. And what I mean with humility is you got to understand you don't need to win every battle. Don't need to go back and forth with people. You don't need to have some type of quarreling between people. Sometimes the best thing to do is to play possum with people. And if you ever seen a possum, what that statement means is when possums are about to get attacked or they feel like they're in some major damage, the possum will turn around and play as though it is dead, so that the whatever the predator is, they might think that that possum is gone for it. So they might take their attention off of whatever the situation is. As soon as they turn their head, the possum gets up and run away out of the clutches of whatever that predator was, because the predator thought that the possum was dead, but it was a ploy. And in the end, the possum's life was saved. In the same vein, this is how you have to sometimes go into life. And humility is that you don't need to be the biggest, baddest person in the room. You don't need to prove stuff to people. You know who you are. You ain't got to front. You ain't got to put on a show. You're going to be real. It is what it is. You don't feel like you better than the next man because of what you got or what you can do. You already understand that everything you got, it comes from the blessings of God. And just like God gave to you, he'll snatch it out your hand when you become prideful and everything like that. You understand that everything you got is for God's glory, not your own. You understand that. You understand who you are at a fundamental level. And not only that, when you're humble in these spaces and you tell the truth to yourself, you can see right through people. So you don't engage with people with certain actions because certain people, like a lot of the manipulative people, they want you to engage with them in drama, knowing that it's going to lead you to your destruction. So with humility, you got to be careful, because oftentimes when you're too humble, people gonna walk all up over you. You ain't gonna be getting what you need in this life. You're not gonna get what you're worth. In the same vein, you don't want to be so damn egotistical and narcissistic, because these people are miserable and they extremely selfish. They don't care about nobody but themselves, and these people live a horrible, miserable life, regardless of what they show to people on the outside, regardless of all that stuff. So it's in life, you like with everything, you have to work with humility over time and understand that it's gonna be times where you get walked on. It's gonna be time where you was way out of line and you feel like you was better than other people. At one point, you're gonna be grounded as a person in understanding who you are, and so you're not letting the external world dictate your actions, dictate your emotions, or put yourself on a pedestal that's higher than other people. Because again, you know that everything you have is from God. It's not necessarily you, it's God working through you. So you're not better than the next man. We're humans. Okay. But with that being said, you treat people in a certain type of way. But also, with that being said, when you see very toxic people or whatever the situation is, they're coming up to you with negativity and you ain't doing it to them. It's this is humility is different in understanding these people got to go. You can't treat them the same way. You got to treat and handle them a certain type of way to protect your peace and not to hurt people. But with playing possum is to let people think that they beat you. Let them think that they smarter than you. Let them think that they're more clever than you. You don't always need the last word. You don't need to go over there and try to show that you're the dominant one. You don't need to go prove and try to yell to the streets that you're the king. Like if you ever seen Game of Thrones, there was one scene in Game of Thrones where King Joffrey and his uncle Tyrion, he had said something wrong. Tyrion, which was not the king, he had said something to King Joffrey, and the King Joffrey got upset and said, "How dare you say that? I am the king." And then King Godfrey, his father was also his grandfather was also at that table, and he looked at him and said, "Any man that goes out here and yells and claims that he's the king is no king. He's not a king, because the true king in that situation was the grandfather." And why do I say all that? When you know who you are, or you are whatever you are, you do not need to go around and yell it out to the streets about who you are. If you're a king, it's in your essence. It's in the way that you walk. You ain't got to convince people of that. You ain't got to hide. You ain't got to lie. You keep it real. You are who you are. But other people, they don't do that. You don't need to proclaim that you're the king or the queen. But people around you, they know that is what you are. And it's not to be in some type of prideful. It's like, I'm just saying, things are what they are. $100 bill is $100 bills. A $1 bill is a one. There's no emotion in it. It's just in the recognition of this is what it is. But when people think that they're better than you, when people feel like they can get over on you, they feel like they're smarter than you, they feel like whatever. You play possum in the sense to let people win. Sometimes you gotta let extremely egotistical people, as crazy and as quiet as kept, you have to sometimes just let people think they won. Understand that this is not a sign of weakness, and this is not a sign of being some type of pushover. What I mean you got to understand how fruitless it is to go back and forth with a fool. You really got to grasp that. People, they waste their lives going back and forth with foolish people who do things on purpose. They go out there and do outlandish things on purpose to get attention from you. They say crazy. They go do whatever on purpose. So you gotta sometimes let people think that they got it. Let them think that they won. And then, with that being said, you get up and you leave. That's not all your cases. You got to be wise, and again, it takes time to understand and understand and use these techniques in a way that's more beneficial. Is more aligned with who you are as an individual. But playing possum is just in letting your enemies think that they won. Let them think that they won. These people, egotistical people like this, they only are about what's happening right now. They don't see long term plans. They don't have any type of. This is why these people are so easy to fool. It's so easy to maneuver around these people because they think that they're smarter than you. They think that they're better than you. They think that they're more clever. They think all these things. And again, these people come up against you so hard because they already understand deep down inside they're everything but. They know you the truth. They know you the truth. But they got to convince you and they got to go out their way to try to tear you down so they can feel like they're the big person. And so in order to avoid a lot of bull, a lot of demonic bastards that's coming up against you, you got to recognize that you're not fighting the person. You fighting that damn spirit inside that person. And so this is why humility is so important, because you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You don't need to do that. You are who you are. It is what it is. Just because this person is taking the lead at this situation right here, it does not make you inferior. If you want to, you can commandeer. You just recognize how to operate with people to a certain degree so you can maintain your peace. If you go back and forth and fight with everybody on when you're going down the Yellow Brick Road to Emerald City to see the Wizard of Oz, if you get stopped every 2 seconds to fight a troll, you will never ever make it to the land of Oz. And that's how a lot of people are. That's exactly. So you got to recognize them. They're spiritual clowns. They're fools. You got to understand and sometimes play dead. Let them think that they won. Of course, they didn't win, but you don't need to go back and forth to convince people you are the king. You understand what I'm saying? You don't need to do these things. People who do not feel that way and are very insecure, that's what they think. You can maneuver around environments because people think that you're dumb or that people think that they're better than you. They think whatever they think, only in the end to recognize and realize that they was never on your level. They thinking that they win in the race and it's not even a race, but you lapping them. They thinking that because you're behind them, they're winning. They don't even recognize you've lapped them 120 times. They don't get that. They don't see that you're 90 steps ahead of them, but they think that they're clever and they think that they're getting over on you. It's not to say that people might not have gotten you or manipulated you in certain, but you wisen up and you play dead sometimes to let people think that they won. Let them think that they won. Give them their trophy. Give them their foolish prize. Because these foolish people play foolish games and they get foolish prizes. And then their foolish prize is your absence. You no longer want to deal anything with them. They thought that they won the fight and they never did. You was playing possum. It's a great power that you can have because it blinds people from reality. You can easily maneuver. Manipulative people think that they're so smart, and it's not like you're trying to be manipulative, but you see how you have to act and move in certain type of ways to ensure that you're not using manipulation in a way where you're trying to harm. You understand how the world is. You understand how the world's gonna come at you. You gotta understand, and you understand that though you're in you're in this world, you're not of this world. You understand your spiritual qualities will not work on demons. So you treat demons a certain type of way. One of the biggest ways that the demons feel good is to get their damn ego stroked. And if they feel like they killed you, they feel like they took you out, they offer it's a weakness. It's an extreme weakness because they always lose in the end because of their damn pride and their ego. They didn't see you coming because they think that they were smarter than you, but you was playing possum. They see now. They didn't see before. And now they feel like idiots, fools, dummies, dunces. All the whole time they thinking that they playing you. Only to come to find out that not only did you you outsmarted them at their own game. You know how low that makes people feel? You know how low that makes them goddamn demons feel? That stuff will torture people who are very egotistical and narcissistic for the rest of their damn days. It will break them down on a level because they have a false sense of image of who they are. And they thought, and you play in the same vein that they might run up to you, try to play a certain type of mask, you can do the same thing. You can play the same role just to watch people, just to see who they are. I don't know what they're saying is it's like it's easier to catch bees with honey than it is with vinegar. What I mean is because you can have people who you love dearly, or you really want to see succeed, or you trying to give people chances, or whatever situation is that you're in, and you really want to see the best. But sometimes you got to take a step back and watch people and let them think that they're winning. Because again, when people feel like they're winning or they're better than you, they show you their real character. When they feel like they've killed you, they completely take off that mask, only to realize that you was never down, that they was never bamboozling you. They were being bamboozled the entire time. You know how low down and how foolish and dumb that makes people feel? Understand that. Play possum with a lot of people. Understand it's not about being a weakness. Let people think that they won. You sit there, go back and forth with people, you will never make it to you. That's what the devil does. He brings in people to embroil you in drama. They will do whatever it takes, and you so upset and mad that you never get into where you need to be in life. And that's the purpose. That's the intention. Let people win. When you see people who operate and move and navigate, let them think that they won. But you set up strong boundaries. You move and you operate because you already see this person ain't gonna change. You sit there, you try to change certain people, you cannot. Only thing that's gonna change people on this earth is a damn bullet in the brain. That's the only thing. And I'm not trying to be violent, but I'm telling you that's what it is. It's a damn bullet in their brain. That's the only way. So in order to protect your peace, in order to move and navigate in a way where you don't have to go back and forth, is sometimes play possum. Let them think that let them give the trophy. Let them take the foolish trophy, because you're thinking in the long term. They will always lose in comparison to you. Always. That's a major power. Appear to be weak when you're actually strong. Appear to be dumb when you're actually smart. Appear to be one way in order to fool and bamboozle your enemies. Your enemies are extremely easy to fool when they feel like when their ego is getting stroked. When they feel like they're winning, they're over you. They go blind to reality. You play possum and they think that they're on top of the world until they turn around and see that you're gone. It breaks them on I'm telling you, that's why you don't have to take vengeance against people. Their own existence is their damn vengeance, okay? So play possum, that's number 5. You know, I got number 6 is like know who you are. And this takes time. It takes time. It takes a lot of time away from the world. When you find God, and I mean you truly find God, when you went through so much hell in your life and you ready to break and go on to the wild side and give up everything good because you feel like nothing is working out, and then you almost at that level where you about to spaz out and really start going hurting people and doing evil in this world, just like how people 20 times worse. That's truly when God steps in and he and he and he bless you right before you about to jump, right before you about to go head nose dive over into the wrong path in your life. That's when he comes in and he gets you and he shows you who you are. And you can never forget who you are, what you've done on this earth, what you've done for people. And understand that. Understand that you don't do things for evil. You do things out of a way to protect yourself. You know who you are as a person. You know that this is not the environment for you. This is not the woman for you. This is not the man. Because if you bring in somebody and you don't know who you are, you're going to bring in people that's not compatible with you. And then this person can potentially tear your life down. That damn devil will come in the disguise of a person, and they will tear your life apart to smithereens. And knowing yourself, you know that you ain't got to go back and forth and prove stuff to people. You don't need things. You don't need people. You don't need a lot of stuff. That liberates you so tremendously. People cannot come in and try to act as though you're something that you're not. And what I mean is, again, manipulative people, they want to gain control over you. The first way that they do that is they have to invalidate you. They have to make you think that everything on the interior is wrong and that you need to look outside for validation. This is why they will do what is called gaslighting, where they do something and then they sit there in your face and say, I ain't do nothing. It's crazy making behavior. They go around and proactively lie so people can look at you a certain type of way. They want to isolate and try to make you think that you're something that you're not. And to a certain degree, especially if you've been going through this type of manipulation dynamic, again, you could have seen this in your youth, that you don't even necessarily see the how wrong it is until you get up and you leave and you see other environments, you see other people where they actually are healthy, not toxic. When you know yourself, I'm talking truly know, it doesn't matter what the world says about you. Only thing is what God says about you. You stand on the truth, you stand on your one, and nobody, you can defeat armies of men, hundreds of thousands of people, groups of people. People can't even, they can't break you 100 to 1. They can't even break you when it's 100 of them and only one of you, because you know yourself. You know who you are. You know what you've done in this world. You know what your morals and your values are. You know what you're going for. You know what you're not going for. You know what you love. You know what you don't love. A lot of people, they would be very envious that you do know yourself. You know your purpose in life. You have the ability to be your full authentic self. You have enough humility and understanding that you can give. You ain't got to take away. You can give love. You ain't got to give hate. You know how much people hate that about you? Because you know yourself. That's powerful. Because a lot of people, they don't have a clue. They've been spending their whole life trying to be like everybody else. They don't have a clue. And how do you know yourself? Again, even if you don't know yourself, it's not about condemnation. It's not about beating you down and saying that you're a wrong person. Everybody plays the fool. Everybody doesn't know who they are at points in time. I don't give a damn who they are. It's just in this society, everybody hides their flaws. Everybody are very good at promoting a certain image. People, they live their life through social media than the reality of life, and they be miserable behind the scenes. Because dressing something up, you can dress up a pile of a dog dunker dunker. You can put frosting on it, cake and everything. It doesn't matter. It don't matter because the interior is still there, but with you is something completely different because you know who you are. Understand that virtue, you have confidence. So people can't knock you off. It's not say you ain't gonna get knocked down, got knocked off your feet, but you'll always get back up. If God is there with you, you will always get back up. Always. But stay true to who you are. You will always prevail. But you're going to go through trials and tribulations, but you cannot be afraid of that. Sometimes you have to endure the rain. You have to endure the cold, and everybody has to go through those times where you don't even think God is there, and everything is dead in your life. Everything on all fronts, just like Job. But then it gets to a point when God gets you about that situation right before you're about to turn. You know what I'm saying? Like you know yourself. You know that's one of the best feelings in the world when you stay true to yourself. When you didn't waver, you kept your integrity. And again, that's why a lot of people, they will hate you. They will hate your guts for that reason. It's because they, whatever they got, they did it in ways where they essentially had to give up their soul. It's not necessarily they sold, but it's like they knew they were doing something that wasn't right, and it does not sit well with them. And oftentimes they will keep on doing things that they know is not right, and that stuff sits inside of people like a rock, weighing them down. That's why a lot of people, they hate themselves, and they don't know themselves because they don't want to look inside, because they have to acknowledge who they are and what they've done to people. But the thing is, in understanding and knowing yourself is to accept your flaws, accept who you are, take accountability for what you have done, and try to right your wrongs. And then outside of that, do wake up every day to do be a little bit better than what you were before. You see? And knowing yourself is fighting them damn demons. And how do you do that? You got to take a step back from the world. You got to. You got to be isolated in order to, and that scares and it intimidates, and that's freaky for a lot of people. That's why a lot of people, if you are have the ability to walk alone and you're confident, people they hate you and they'll be very envious, wishing that they had that quality, because they feel like they can never leave their people. They can never leave, even though those people are harmful, beating them down, toxic, and whatever the situation is. They admire that somebody is doing something different, and sometimes that's why sometimes God will make you a leader, because you do know yourself. He'll make you a leader to give hope to other people. Sometimes your mission is in life is for people to see all the hell that you've gone through and how you handled it. And so now look how God is blessing this individual. It gives people hope to do the same, to change their ways, because they have an example. They have an example. Before they thought it was impossible, but now before their eyes they actually see it's real. And look what God is doing for this person. It gives people courage and it gives people hope to do the very same thing that you did, even if they never ever come to your face and say it to you. They might say it behind the scenes, but I'm telling you, in knowing yourself, people admire that. They could be very envious of that too. But not only that, but you know it. You know who you are. You don't have to prove things to people. To you accept your flaws and your talents and whatever the case may be. You don't let your flaws get to a point where you're devastated and you can never longer go forward because of your flaws. In the same vein, you don't take your talents and whatever you can do well and hold it and lord it over others as if you're better than them. It's a balance and it takes time. But this number six is you truly got to know who you are. You know, number seven is forgive, but you should damn sure never forget. And this one gets confused a lot. Forgiveness. I like how this dude, I think his name's Chronicles of Judah 144, but he said this one time. I love how he put it. He said, forgiveness is multi-layered. It's multi-layered. Sometimes people, their sign of forgiveness is y'all reconcile and y'all get back together and everything goes back to normal. Whereas other people, their sign of forgiveness is they don't hit you in the face for what you just did. They don't hit you. They don't hurt you. They don't put you in the ground for what you did. That's another person's form of forgiveness. And with that being said, forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. And what I mean is, y'all don't have to get back together and everything goes back to normal. Forgiveness is letting go in your best way as possible of what others have done towards you. Is to forgive and understand like people did what they did. A lot of times people they do stuff out of hurt. It sounds like I'm giving excuses. It's not. I'm not necessarily trying to make excuses for people. It's just the understanding of why people do it. Now, but simply because you got the understanding, it doesn't mean that people can still stay in your life. It's just an understanding what it is. Understanding that's a dog and what a dog does. You don't hate no dog. Again, I'm not necessarily saying that people are like that. I'm saying you don't necessarily hate that person. It's the behavior. It's their character. And so, with that being said, yes, you can forgive people, and you should forgive. But it's like it's up to you to understand this, that people they will use forgiveness and they see forgiveness as a weakness, even though they did something foul. They work in overtime to try to get back into your life, crying crocodile tears, doing the whole banana. And then if you give in and you relent and you let that person in, even though they just did all that stuff to get back into your life, they'll look at you as you a goddamn fool. I'm about to drag you. I'm about to drag you from Timbuktu to Lithuania. I'm about to drag you all over the seven seas because you stupid. Why would you forgive me? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but this is how people's mentalities work. And this is where sometimes being honest is important, because all that's going to happen is people going to come back in and they say the words forgiveness, but their actions will never line up and they will drag you. They will do what they did before, but 20 times worse, because they feel as though, okay, now I got to open door to this person, because they know doggone well they never forgive people. And they know they're not a person that's trustworthy of forgiveness, because they know they're going to do the exact same thing over and over again. And so, with that being said, um, um, what I mean with this forgive but never forget, simply because you don't forget what people do doesn't mean that you're holding a grudge against people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, You understand this is a person's behavior, their pattern of behavior. Based off of your pattern of behavior, it is more than likely you're going to do whatever you just did again, especially if people like accountability 99.9999999% of the time. Whatever they did before, they're going to do it again. You can forgive but not forget, because you got to also understand everybody not you. Sometimes you project. If you say I'm sorry, and somebody gave you forgiveness, you will really be appreciative and you will truly change your behavior. Other people, they'll never do that. They will never. They feel like if they just say sorry, you're just supposed to let them back in so they can snake you again. And then they will act as though something is wrong with you, that you were the wrong, you foul, you cold hearted, you nasty, you this, and this, you over exaggerating. Had you done whatever they did to you, it's World War III. They so clearly can see the evil if it happened to them, but they're as blind as a bat when it's the other way around. And they're giving out to people. They see it as not a big deal. Had you done it to them, they would have lost their damn mind. You see what I'm talking about? And again, some people are very conscious of what they're doing. There's a lot of people who don't. They truly do think that you're in the wrong. They lack self-awareness. They truly do. They see you are a reflection. And people, they're only looking at their reflection when they're looking at you. Some people are cognizant of it, others are not. But it doesn't change the fact that they see a mirror. So they think that you are them, as quiet as kept. That's what they see. And that's what they think, because they lack self awareness. They lack self awareness. So, with that being said, you can forgive, but you damn sure should never forget. When you forget, all that's gonna happen is people gonna, they're gonna do it again. They will see it. There's a lot of people that see that stuff as weakness. They don't respect it, and so that's why you can forgive and forget to a certain degree, but you damn sure cannot reconcile, because they don't respect it. People don't respect the love that you give to them. They don't respect the truth. They don't respect it. A lot of them truly don't respect it. Even when you're gone, they might respect it or appreciate it in the sense that it was benefiting them. It's a selfish position. It's a very selfish position. That's not everybody, but there's a lot of people where it's just coming from they regret you leaving. They regret losing you. It's not necessarily truly you. And again, you gotta be really honest with yourself. You got to understand it's not about you, it's about what they was getting out of you. And they had, again, a lot of people who lack self-awareness, they might interpret it as you, but it's not. You got to understand how everybody don't think like you. They don't move like you. Just because if somebody forgave and or whatever with you, don't mean that the next man's gonna do that to you. That person could have said and against you 155 times. You did it one time, and it's like you just killed their mama. They are so hysterical. And so, with that being said, past behavior is indicative of the future behavior, and you got to look at that. You got to. It's like people want you to complete. I'm not about to forget nothing. I'm not forgetting that. I will be a fool, because when I forget, I will let a snake back in to do me dirty again. Shame me one time. Shame on you the next time. It's on me. I forgive you, but I don't forget. Especially, it's like certain things, if it's innocent, you can forget innocent things. But there's other things, it's other things, especially if it was intentional. It was planned. It was very much, people knew what they was doing. They were very much in their right mind. They understood what they were doing. They understood the reasoning. They understand that you was undeserving of it. They understood the potential impact. They understand how it could hurt you and break you in a lot of ways, or whatever the situation is. It's just they didn't care because they thought that they was going to do it correctly or finish it off. Now that they lost, now they want you to forgive and forget. But again, when the very same individual, had you been in the same, if the roles were reversed, they chopped off your dang on foot, hands, and you gave them a paper cut, and you'll never hear from the rest of your. I mean, you'll never live it down for the rest of your days. But they can do all this manner of evil and expect you to allow them back in and tolerate their foolery. No, I forgive you. I don't forget. I don't give a damn how many times. Some people they'll do something foul towards you, run away for a year, two, or whatever situation is, a couple of months, maybe days, come back, act like nothing happened. And again, these same people, they lack accountability. You got to watch it, because some people they'll ask for forgiveness, but it's fake. They understand enough that they should act like they're repentant. They should act like they didn't mean to do it. They should act a certain type of way. This is oftentimes why when people do you dirty or something like that, and it was foul, and they knew they was in their right mind. This is why it's important not even have a conversation with these people, because it's almost like you gonna disrespect yourself, because these people ain't gonna do nothing but sit there and lie in your face. They're gonna lie to you, and it's extremely disrespectful. They're gonna sit there and lie to your face, acting as though they ain't do nothing wrong, or they're gonna flip the scenario and act like it wasn't that big of a deal or whatever, or it was your fault or something like that. That's what they would do. And so you are losing power when you even engaging with people when you already know what it is. So forgiveness, is based on you. For me, you ain't gonna cross me and get away with that. You ain't gonna cross me. You ain't gonna play no games with me. You ain't gonna do none of that. Mm-mm-mm. I'm about to show you something real smooth. It's like with me, it's just like, man, once a certain threshold, when somebody does certain things that was unprovoked, I have no mercy in my heart for them. Not a shred of mercy. I don't care how people feel once I don't care. Oh, we miss you. I don't care if you miss me. I don't care what you got to say about nothing. Because when I was there, you showed me your ass. You showed me that you ain't care. You showed me the disrespect that you was willing to give me. The only reason why you changing up your steps right now is because I'm no longer there. You thought it was a game. You thought I was goofy. I have no mercy in my heart for you. Not a shred of mercy. Thing is, I forgive you, but I'm never reconciling with you. And that's just what it is with people. People like to play games, foolish games. They get foolish prizes. Like, I ain't going for none of it, and that's just some. That's me as an individual. You, I don't trust you. You'll never get that level of trust with me again. You'd be lucky if you ever see me again. You'd be very much lucky, because I go out there and try to do my best by people. So if somebody's coming into my life, they get them into my atmosphere, and I ain't doing that, and I'm doing the very opposite. And people think they're gonna play some games with me. They think I'm gonna be a snake. I have no mercy for people. I have not a shred of mercy. I forgive, but I damn sure ain't reconciling. I will remove people about my life with the quickness. I will cut them out like a cancer with the quickness. People do not know me. I will detach and be as cold hearted as possible. People saying you cold, you goddamn right I'm cold hearted, because you should never cross me. It was unprovoked. I'm not that type of person. It's some things. It's one thing if I can see that it was genuinely an accident. But people, they like to hide in the shadows and do their evil work behind the shadows. But again, just like I said earlier, they don't recognize that you're watching them. God telling you to be silent. They don't recognize that you're watching them. You're watching their patterns of behavior. Why is it that all of a sudden, once God gets you about that pit, people's behaviors are changing? Their pattern of behavior has been this for so many years. All of a sudden, abruptly, it changes when God gets you up out that pit. All of a sudden, they want to use these labels as a way to keep you in their life so they can continuously keep on taking advantage of you. This is why it's so important to forgive but not forget, because people are going to sit there and act like they ain't really do nothing at all. Again, they chopped off all your limbs acting like they ain't do nothing, and you overreacting. So it's like with that, I have no mercy. That's just me as a person. When it's intentional, I have no mercy. That's my level of forgiveness. I get up and I walk away. They done in my book. And so, but it's based off of who you are and what your scenarios is. I am cold hearted when somebody play with me. I ain't mean I ain't got love for people, but I'm damn sure I ain't gonna never let them back in my life. I'm gonna let them play with me. People should have known that, and they should have took they should have took into account um they should have took into account the possibilities prior to whatever they did. But again, a lot of people, they be feeling like you ain't gonna do nothing. They be feeling like they can get away with it. They feel like they're smarter than you and they're outsmarting you. And again, they don't understand why they can't get back in. It's because they don't recognize that you was watching them. the patterns, their behaviors, what they was doing, how they was maneuvering. They cannot just come back and all of a sudden switch. They've been acting a certain type of way for so long. All of a sudden, they switch. And that's why God is trying to show you something. You should not forget. People who want to come in and screw you over, that's their mantra. But I guarantee you, watch, they'll never forget, they'll never forgive you. Never. And so you got to understand this is how the damn devil works and how the devil plays. You cannot play patty cake with the damn devil. So that's number 7. You can forgive, but you damn sure should never forget. Never forget. Because that's a person's pattern behavior dictates of who they are. Past behavior predicts future behavior. You're not necessarily holding the past against them. You're evaluating the past, ensuring that you invest in the right person. It's like a car. Do you just gonna go to a used car lot and just pick up a car and not really care what happened to it in the past? No, you want to know, because that car more likely could potentially break down based off of what has happened to it in your past. It's not about emotion. It's about understanding you want the right product, the right person, the right individual, the right scenario in your life, not the wrong one. And you have to look at the history. Even in jobs, a resume is your past history because they want to see what type of a person is. Your past behavior oftentimes predicts your future. So it's not about judging because everybody does wrong. So forgive, but damn sure never forget. It's number 7. You know, number 8 is understanding you fighting the spirit, not the person. And I know sometimes, again, I know a lot of people, they ain't gonna know what the hell I'm talking about, but in times, a lot of people will. You got to understand it's the spirits of people, man. People, they broken down so much. They souls broken down so damn much that those damn demons can really truly get in and get at you. Thing is, even though the demons can come in and get at you when you're around them, it does not negate the fact that these people of their actions. They need to be held accountable for what they do because they have the ability, they have the options, and they have the right to choose. And they chose this route. So no, you can't sit there and let people guilt trip you enough, because in the same vein that they over there talking about, oh, I had a hard time and I had this and this is what I did. You also more than likely went through a lot of hell in your life, but you didn't choose that negative path. You chose the positive. And people, they have the option, they have the opportunity. And so when you hold people to a standard, you start to remove people that's in your life for no good. You will praise people's spirits, not their flesh, their spirit. And how do you do that? How you appraise it? If you listen to the world, people will say that you need to listen to flesh, or you need to be loyal to flesh. Like blood is thicker than water. But spirit is, even though your blood would treat you worse than the people on the street. Your blood would be more evil than the people on the street. In comparison to the people out there on the street, they cupcake in comparison to your blood. Cain killed Abel. Your blood will kill you. Just because y'all got the same blood don't mean nothing. They will chop your head off. They will set you. They will kill you because y'all spirits ain't right. People got all this negative energy on them. They got these negative outlook. Y'all not even related. Y'all related in the flesh, not the spirit. And you got to look at people from their spirit, because you got to let people go whose spirit is not right with yours. Because you got to understand that simply because it's like, again, like how they say this is the Matrix. That's very much true. Like, have you ever played like those open world games, like Grand Theft Auto or something like that, or whatever this, whatever. In like in these games, you might have a family or whatever, and like just in this video game, even though you have the family in that video, you probably don't necessarily even care about the family in that video game. But it's kind of like the same way on this worldly scene, where you're born into this world, and you were born like with family or situations, community members, friends, that was designed by the developers. But you don't necessarily sit there and be loyal to that NPC family or whatever. I know, kind of like going all over the place, but with all that being said, what I mean is, it's just because y'all blood on earth don't mean that y'all blood in spirit. You gotta appraise people by their spirit, because people, regardless of y'all flesh, they gonna keep on attacking you. They gonna keep on coming up against you. They will do all manner of evil. And so, with that being said, yeah, this could be blood, but they don't treat you that way. Yeah, this could be a friend, but they don't treat you that way. Yeah, this could be whatever, whatever. Yeah, y'all got those labels, but these people treat you the complete opposite of those labels. You sitting there, staying there with situations with people, people will drag you to the depths of hell if you allow it. And they don't care. Extremely selfish. But they'll claim that you're selfish when you get up and walk away. They'll claim something is wrong with you when you get up and you walk away. They'll claim that you in the wrong, and they'll go around and tell everybody this scenario to get other people to turn their back on you. They take no accountability whatsoever and pretend that it's all on you. Some people, again, they're so damn delusional, they really do believe it's you. They feel like everything they did towards you was justified because of you. They never take accountability for their actions. Never. And so, with that being said, when people don't take accountability for their actions, you got to understand how fruitless this relationship of any kind is, because nothing will grow. Nothing. They can't admit the truth about any. Nothing will ever grow with that situation, and that's why it's you got to let it go, because people ain't gonna do nothing but stab you, stab you, stab you, and kill you and take you out. Blood cut is worse than anything, and it's like they don't care. And so you got to care. That's why in the Bible, when Jesus was preaching to those people like the temple, something like that, and then one of the people came, Jesus said, "Hey, Jesus, your brother and your mother is at the gates. What should we do?" Jesus said, "Who's my brothers? Who's my mother, or whatever, or whatever the situation is." He said, "Who are them?" He said, "The ones that did the will of my Father." It's the spiritual people. That was the people that's actually spiritually connected to God. Those are my mother. And this is why another thing he said, if you love mother, father, or whatever situation is more than me, you're not worthy of me. And what that means is that sometimes God's gonna call you up out of this life. He's gonna call you and isolate you. If you have a codependency to certain people, you're not gonna get up and you're gonna leave. You see what I'm saying? You're never gonna leave. You be loyal to the flesh than you are to the spirit, and then you just gonna live a miserable, destroyed lives because people that's what they want you in. You care about their happiness, they don't give a damn about yours. You love them, they don't love you, and I know that's harsh, but you gotta be real with yourself. In all these scenarios, all these cases, they've shown you what they feel about you and how they think about you, and everything was you probably had people on the street that treat you better than some of the people you've known your whole life. You interacted with one person one time. They've done more in your life with this one individual than a lot of other people have done your entire life. It's the spirit of people that you got to look at. It don't matter how people look on the outside. It don't matter how much money they got in the bank. It don't matter how good they look. It don't matter how many cars they got. It don't matter. If a person's spirit is different from yours, they will attack you. And it's only a God spirit or the damn spirit of the damn devil. It's only these one twos. There's nothing else there. Nothing. So people gotta worship. You cannot serve two masters. It's only one of the two. A lot of people are like, "Oh man, that's not true, man. I'm not religious. I don't. That stuff is real. I don't worship nothing." That's a lie. People naturally worship. This is what we was made to do. We worship as humans. We're supposed to worship God, but people they worship everything like their money. They worship kids. They worship their woman, their husband. They worship basketball, football. They worship. There's a whole bunch of different idols that people worship. People don't even see that these things is idols. All that stuff is connected to the devil. And what I mean what it is, again, you cannot serve two masters. If you've ever seen that movie Finding Nemo, there was a scene where Gil, that little black and white fish that was trying to get up out the thing with Nemo, he told Nemo, "Look, all drains lead down to the ocean. Just get in one of those drains, get put on, and then the drains will lead you to the ocean." It's in the same vein. It's like the damn devil. People have different idols, but all those idols go right back to the damn devil. You see, all drains leads right back to the ocean. All these damn idols lead right back to the damn devil, not God. So, with all that being said, you got to understand who people's spirit is. It composes their flesh. Flesh will kill you, and you gotta sometimes love flesh from a distance, because it's like, even though you got love for them, they ain't got no love for you. You come up over there and they expect you to hug them while they got an outfit on that's filled with spikes, razor sharp piercings, and they want to try to give you a hug and get offended when you're not trying to when you backing away. You're not, and they're not willing to take them spites off. They get offended because you will not sit there and be hurt and whatever from them. When they got stuff all around, they don't understand. And again, some people do. They don't understand like all that stuff is on them. Those extremely sharp razor spikes is going to kill you, but they don't care. So the next one, like that was number 8. Next one I got is you know be strong when necessary, and you got to pick your battles. And what I'm saying with that is, strength, just like with everything, it's a spectrum in the sense that sometimes you're gonna be at weak parts in your life, but it doesn't even though you're in a weak place of your life, you gotta understand you still have strength in those times. And of course, you're gonna have times in your life where you're up, and you also have strength in those times too. But what I'm saying, like with the strength, like in understanding when to be strong and when not to, not necessarily when to be strong, when not to be strong. It's like again, just like what I said before, playing puzzle. You got to pick your battles. You cannot get up and interact with every troll that's on your path. Fight, go back and forth because you'll never make it to where you need to be. The devil sets up roadblocks on purpose, hurdles on purpose. Put everything in your path to stop you before you need to get to go. And so people will naturally do the same thing who ain't healed on the interior, who don't have the same spirit of God. They're going to do the exact same thing. That's what their purpose in life is, to destroy you. And that's just what it is. But you have to learn to pick your battles. Not only do you need to learn how to pick your battles, you have to learn how to fight. And see, the thing is, it's one thing swinging with people, the physical fight. But oftentimes you cannot navigate life swinging on people, hurting people, putting people on the ground. This is one problem I had. I remember when I was getting older because people were coming at me. It's like, how do I defend myself? Because oftentimes if you defend yourself, you're the one in trouble. And I'm talking about physically. So it's like, how do you navigate these? Because people, they like to provoke you and then act like they're the victim. So in understanding how to fight is sometimes you got to use a silent treatment as a way to fight. Sometimes you got to remove yourself. Sometimes, you got to be direct. Sometimes you got to give people a little access. There's different ways that you fight different people or scenarios and situations. And it takes time to really truly understand what I'm talking about, to truly grasp it. You don't fight everybody the same, and you don't fight everything and everybody that comes across you. It's not saying that you're weak, soft, or whatever. I understand you got to understand how to preserve your energy and when to fight and when not to fight. Understanding when to fight for your manhood, when to fight for respect in comparison to fighting over folly with people. When you're fighting over folly, you're going to get foolish results, destructive results. So you got to navigate in a way where, you don't react to everything. Everything does not need a response. Everything does not address, some things are truly above you, not people, but their behavior. And so with that being said, you have to, in time, spot people, be humble enough to recognize where they coming at and how they about to come up towards you. Not in any fear or anything like that. It's just an understanding. And so you handle them a certain type of way. You don't invest any emotional energy. And if time comes and people back you up into the wall, your last option should be to hurt people. But it's like, that's the option. If they push you to the wall, you got to do what you got to do, but that's not your first action. It's an understanding. Sometimes a strength is saying, admitting when you're weak. Strength is admitting when you need help. Strength is sometimes putting yourself up out there, and you potentially being judged and critiqued. That's where a lot of times where strength comes. Strength comes from the adversity that you comes up against you. The strength of your character. That's why a lot of times people say your character will hold more weight than people's titles, their money, and everything else. Your words hold more sway. It's because of your internal strength. So it takes time, but learning when to pick your battles. You cannot fight every troll on the yellow brick road. You'll never get to the city of Oz if you did that. And that's what people's mission in your life. So when you spot people who are drama filled or whatever, even if it's family, you got to learn how to distance yourself, if not outright remove these people, because they don't have goodwill coming into your life. They're going to tear your life apart. You got to understand when to fight for respect, and when the person is coming up against you, trying to fight you with folly. You don't fight folly. You'll get nothing but foolish results, fruitless, end up in prison, jail, or something like that, going back and forth for certain people. Because the only way you can ever interact, I always say, man, the only way that you can be around a lot of these damn demons is to become the devil. You got to be extremely evil just to be around people. That's why you got to get up and walk the hell away at times. Bow out before somebody end up in a coffin. Because people be thinking life is a game. And then when something happened, they run around boo-hooing. They like to go out there and disrespect people, and somebody put a bullet in their ass. Now they out there crying boo-hoo. People talking about it's a tragic end, and it didn't need to happen. It needed to happen because that's what foolish people get. Foolish people do foolish things and play foolish games, and then they win foolish prizes. It's not tragedy when these people meet their damn demise for doing folly. That's just life. That's the balancing of the scales. That's the alpha and the omega. That's the um, um, left and the right. It's the up and the down. It's just a life. It's the balance. But don't go back out there and fight everybody. Don't go back and forth and go back verbally. Understand you. Sometimes you just got to understand. In times you'll understand, but it's like, man, when fights don't need to. If you're interacting with a fool, do not go back and forth with it. You could put a fool in a place and then just and leave it there and move on. But in the same vein, a fool just gonna keep on going back and forth with you. That's when you know you got to release some people. They got to go, or love them from a distance. That's not weakness. So that's number 9. And then um, it's number 10. I got like I say be more aware of toxic people and understand how to navigate in rooms with toxic people and stuff like that. I understand toxic people, they like to hide, they like to do a lot of this stuff. And if you want to live a life of peace, you sometimes got to let these people go, interact with them in a certain way, and then leave it at that. So that's my 10, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.